Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Greetings and salutations, and a big warm welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, I also wanted to give a big shout out to some new listeners and friends before we get cracking today, because I met so many inspirational people at the NLV event in Denver recently. And there's something insanely good that makes you feel all warm inside about learning and supporting other people. Is that something you've ever encountered? For example, I met Kurt, who is a man behind the Freedom Club podcast, who I strongly urge that you check out. He had a great episode with Mike Johnson, who is just a fantastic guy. And just one of those people that you could chat to for hours. I mean, he's quite a storyteller. And I note to myself, I must get him on this show at some point. So I urge you to check out his conversation at the Freedom Club podcast between Kurt and Mike Johnson. Because for me, they really disrupted traditional thinking in that conversation. It made me question quite a few things. Speaking of which, did you all see the latest Samsung phone that was recently announced? Just like the Apple phone last year, I'm getting a little bit bored with the whole, hey, look everyone, a slightly better camera this year, more memory, better processor, the screen's slightly bigger. Hey, look everyone, shiny new emojis. Aren't they cool? As a result, we're starting to see through this, and unsurprisingly, we're no longer upgrading our phones as much as we used to. So this got me thinking, what does that mean for mobile phone manufacturers? And also, what does it mean for mobile operators in that wireless space? Because the market really does seem to be evolving now, and we're all starting to question if we need a £70 a month mobile phone contract. Of course, texts and call packages are completely irrelevant now, and it's all about data. So when I read that Mint SIM, a sister company of Ultra Mobile, that they sold 1 million gigabyte of data in its first year, that's impressive on its own. But then when I read that they had sold 2 million gig of data only 6 months later, and that was a clear indication to me that the world of mobile networks is completely evolving. So for anyone that has switched to a $15 a month SIM from a $60 package and wondered how the industry is actually reacting and how it's evolving, I think you'll love this episode. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Orange County in California, so we can speak with Erin North about Mint SIM and how it's become a major player in the wireless marketplace. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are, what you do, and also your background at Taco Bell and beyond?
Yeah, my name's Erin North. I am the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Creative here at Ultra Mobile. Ultra Mobile owns and operates 2 brands in the wireless space, our namesake, Ultra Mobile, and Mint SIM, which is a new direct-to-customer digital brand. And prior to that, I did spend 10 years at various marketing and advertising agencies here in the U.S. And then I did have a fantastic 6-year run at Taco Bell where I was the director of advertising and communications. So in charge of, any new product launch, all the communications that went out there, whether it be television, radio, packaging, point of sale, experiential. There was a ton of responsibility there. It was really fun. Fantastic time. And then now here at Ultra and Mint, I oversee all marketing initiatives. I run the creative department with a team of about 15. And our primary goal is to get people to introduce our brands to folks. Ultra, which is primarily positioned to call abroad. So Ultra is all about people who are potentially calling family members or friends in foreign countries. And Mint, like I had mentioned before, is this direct-to-consumer sort of Dollar Shave Club meets Costco model in the wireless space.
Excellent. Well, I'm really excited to get you on today, especially because of how you're disrupting that mobile space. Because if we look to last week, when the Samsung Galaxy S9 arrived, with predictably a better camera, better processor, and AR emojis with a virtually unchained design. I mean, once that novelty fades, essentially we're left with the realisation that you have a smartphone with a slightly better screen, slightly better battery, a bit more RAM, and a better camera than the last model. And I think this is the problem, that consumers are getting wise on both sides of the Apple and Android divide. I mean, do you think that's partly the reason for mobile virtual network operators continuing to grow in popularity? Because they're not upgrading as much as they used to?
It's really interesting because device drives a lot of discussion in the space. Yeah. And I think what we found is that the the enhancements on first gen iPhone to second gen iPhone were so significant, you found yourself wanting, like high desire to have the newest device. More recently, even my own behavior, what I found is that I do every other generation. So myself, I'm on an S8. My wife is on an S7. When the 9 comes out, she'll get the upgrade. When the 10 comes out, I'll get the upgrade. And we find ourselves, because you're exactly right, the features being evolutionary and the evolution being a bit smaller than, when these products were first introduced to market, we find that it's every other year before we feel the difference. So the interesting thing about that, and to get to your question about how it's impacting MVNOs, is that we've actually seen, heard, and been seeing lots of secondary research that says unlocked devices are actually really growing in popularity. And I think what you are finding is that people are moving to this every other generation, and quite a few people sort of understand the game that the carriers are playing, where you buy a plan from them, and then that plan ends up, having a device financing deal with it, and you pay quite a bit more because you're financing the device through the carrier. So with an unlocked device and unlocked device growth, it gives you that flexibility to try various carriers. So you may move from postpaid to prepaid, or MNO to MVNO. So do I think it's having an impact? Absolutely. But I think the driver of that is really this unlocked phone, and then people completing their device arrangement with their carrier and asking the carrier to unlock the phone so they have flexibility as well. So we see two emerging trends that's really driving our growth in the mobile virtual network operator space.
It's a really interesting space to be in at the moment with the mobile virtual network operators. But are you noticing any other big trends to watch out for this year that you're noticing?
What trends do we see? So we definitely see the lines continuing to blur between prepaid and postpaid. I mean, you're just seeing like no contracts. You're seeing so many of those things that were particularly special for prepaid eroding. Like, we just see it happening. I do think you will continue to see consolidation in the wireless space, whether it be prepaid or postpaid. It's a very competitive environment, and if you do not have a unique selling proposition or a way to really separate yourself from the pack, it's very hard to grow. So I would think network consolidation would be part of that I'd see in the category. As far as other big trends, I think we are at the razor's edge of one, which is this direct to consumer movement. And in the wireless space, us being first in there has been very interesting and, very exciting for us as well. So I think you'll see more people enter that space as well. Beyond that, it's the one thing we always hear people talking about is incremental coverage. So we know that our carrier partner just bought $8 billion of incremental spectrum or network, aka coverage, last year. Incredibly excited about that. And then I think you're going to continue to see prices slowly fall, although we've read some industry news that says that the carriers are going to hold on pricing. I think they're saying that, but I haven't seen that behavior yet, as we're seeing, the bundle deals and the family deals continue to have a presence in the marketplace.
So if there is any consumers listening, what do you think are their big motivations and the big benefits of switching from those traditional wireless carriers to the MVNO options?
Well, what's really exciting is that as those lines become more and more blurred between postpaid and prepaid, the prepaid experience and opportunity really starts to shine through. If you look at Mint, because we've been able to engineer a business from the ground up in today's marketplace, where we're using apps, where we're using, an all digital approach, we're able to remove all sorts of inefficiency in the marketplace. And, the benefit to the consumer is that we've passed all those savings onto them. So for us, you can get a really fantastic plan with unlimited talk, unlimited text, 2 gigs of data per month, which, if you have Wi-Fi at home and in the office, that might be enough, but you can get that for only $15 a month, which nobody can touch right now. It's just, it's a very impressive monthly price point that, is basically unbeatable at the moment. And we think that's because we know it's because we've engineered the business from the ground up to support that all digital model.
So for anyone listening that's new to you guys and what you do, can you just explain what the relationship is between Ultra Mobile and, of course, Mint SIM?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ultra and Mint have a very dynamic relationship. Ultra is our parent company, also a brand. It's our flagship brand. And what we've been able to do with Mint is take years of learning about the MVNO space and about the MVNO customer and really reset and reevaluate and reimagine that process for an online direct-to-consumer brand. So with Ultra, we have a fantastic brand that's built on international calling. And with Mint, we've taken a ton of those learnings on how to run a fantastic, wireless business and then turned that on its head and made it an all digital approach. So we do still work with the same carrier partner. We have all those relationships, and Mint is really a brand built to complement Ultra, whereas Ultra is very much based on, again, international calling. Mint is very much domestic. Ultra is sold in the independent wireless channel. Mint is sold online. So the businesses are quite different, but also very complementary when it comes to an organizational perspective.
So if the refresh rate for smartphones really is much longer now in the eyes of the consumer, how can SIM card network providers such as Mint use that opportunity to offer better value for money for consumers, do you think?
Oh, we absolutely do. I mean, our entire proposition is built on having an unlocked device. And we see, we can only bring customers on who have an unlocked device. So as these devices age in the marketplace, the requirement for the customer to pay 24 payments hits, and then that phone can be unlocked. All they have to do is call their carrier and ask for it. And then that gives them unlimited opportunities to change carriers. And that's really what we're seeing. We talk to our customers all the time, and they tell us once my device requirement was met, then I was sort of open to go look around, and my eyes were sort of eyes wide open once I saw $15 a month with Mint. Like, wow, I was paying 60 or 70, like these incredible amounts, and I can get, in essence, the same service for a quarter or a half of the price. So we think this is a massive opportunity for us. We're a digital brand, so we look for people out there in the world looking up how to unlock devices and what to do with my unlocked device, how to switch carriers. We see that behavior, and we target those folks.
I was just going to say, who are your main customers? Not just who you target, but also the typical type of customer that come to you.
Yeah, it's been one of the most interesting dynamics I've ever seen, and that is that you would expect with a brand so strong with a value position that you would have primarily value consumers and lower income, really operating on a tight budget. And while we do have some of those customers, we actually really do well at the opposite end of the spectrum as well, with more affluent households. And we've talked to a lot of those customers to understand, with value positioning, what resonated with you. And it's this idea of unit economics. So, a lot of these customers have Costco memberships or shop at, warehouse clubs type stores, and they get the fact that wireless doesn't expire. You're going to use it eventually. And if you buy more up front, you get a better rate. That unit economics methodology or pricing scheme, they really gravitate to. So we see ourselves doing well on both ends of the demographic spectrum. And it's just been really interesting. The one thing we have found, which is also very impressive, is that this product really resonates with customers who have high school, college, and even beyond. As far as education, it's been incredibly popular with well-educated customers. And, that's one that's a little bit of just an interesting dynamic that, we continue to see growing. And it's just been really fun to see how, when it comes to how we buy media, we don't really target one demographic. We target a behavior, and we go after that behavior. So we genuinely are demographically blind by design and looking at behaviors of people who are very interested in, unlocked devices or switching their phone plans.
So what are the top 3 things that you're working on inside your company right now?
Mint is expanding its awareness footprint, I should say. Mint's going to go out into more mass market media channels. So that's something very near and dear to my heart, running the brand and also leading the marketing charge. So that's a big one. Customer care is always something we're squarely focused on. We're in continuous improvement when it comes to our customer care, and we want to have industry best, customer care. So that's always on our radar. And then we're looking at we listen to our customers, and our customers are amazing at giving us feedback. So we're looking at some very specific features that customers have asked that we add to our service offering. So we'll be looking at adding those over the next few months. And I would love to tell you what they are, but I don't want to misspeak and have one sort of release out of order. But I can tell you that, there are things like visual voicemail, automatic configuration of data settings, and things of that nature. Things that will just really make the service easier to use, easier to set up, and easier to stay with.
It's easy to see why you're dominating this space so well at the moment. But in your opinion, where does the whole industry go from here, and how do you see it evolving? Do you think those 2-year contracts and finance plans will continue, or is all that going to disappear over time?
It's interesting because you have those conversations all the time with the innovation or the invention of television. Everybody said, is radio going to die? Mm-hmm. With the invention of the internet, was TV going to die? And the answer is no, but the role it plays is diminished. So I think you will see over time, absolutely, carriers will continue to offer phones and finance deals and things of that nature. I think you'll also see family plans continue to show real strength in the marketplace because there is so much value there from a carrier to have, a family of 4 on their network. So I think you'll continue to see those. But I think with the introduction and growth of more MVNOs, I think the balance in the equation will change over time. And I don't think that, things will go away. I think they will have a smaller role. And you'll start to see more people open up to different types of business models. We were one of the first to come out with, this bulk model pricing. I think you will see people replicate that because it is something that is having at least initial success with us.
So if we have whet the appetite of anybody listening, can you just point them in the direction of where they can find out more information on any of the topics we've covered today, or contact your team directly with any questions based around our conversation?
Yeah. So for Mint, you can go to mintsim.com. We've got contact us page, FAQs. We've got an AI engine, we call it chatbot. There you can get all your questions answered. We're very active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. In fact, I read every post and every response that goes up in the social media channels because I do like to hear what the customers have to say to us when it's that one-on-one communication. And for Ultra Mobile, all those exist as well. And you can go to ultramobile.com and get all your questions answered there. But again, we are very active in the social space, and we do love to have that one-on-one conversation with the customer. And in some instances, we may even reach out and have a phone call with a customer to understand, what the opportunity is and how we can make the service better. So by all means, feel free to reach out to us on any of those channels.
I think technology rules just about every part of our lifestyle at the moment now, but customers are becoming increasingly savvy. They've got Wi-Fi at home, they've got Wi-Fi in the office, and they're starting to question, do they really need that 30 gigabyte a month, $60 package for every month for 2 years? And I think you might be onto something there with the family package side of things as well, because we have the family package with Netflix and Spotify and so many other different digital subscriptions that we have now, and I think that's naturally the way to go.
Yeah, Neil, and if you don't mind, I would just like to echo the unlimited conundrum. I mean, if you think about it, quite literally, nobody can use unlimited. It's unlimited. It's impossible. So the average American uses 5 gigs of data a month. The average. Now, of course, I get people are cranking with 30 gigs, but if you're using 5, why are you paying for unlimited? Like, you really got to sort of question yourself. And even if you were to look at our 10 gig plan, so we don't sell an unlimited plan. We just don't do it because we don't think the customer should have to pay for others who are using way more. And if you bought our 10 gig plan, it'd be $25 a month. Most people will never use 10 gigs a month because, like you said, they're bathed in Wi-Fi at home, at the office, or at school. I think that is going to be a really interesting dynamic to watch over the next 12, 18, 24 months to see where unlimited goes from here.
On your own packages, do you allow tethering as well to phone, to laptops and iPads and things like that, or do you not include that in that limit?
No, we absolutely allow it. It's your data. You bought it. You guys can use it any which way you see fit. Quite frankly, we'd be happy if everybody used, like if we have a 10 gig plan, use right up to 9.9999 gigs, and use it all up. Like it's yours. Like we want people to use this data. So if they want to hotspot, fantastic. Go for it.
So a big thank you for coming on today and sharing your expertise in this space. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
I'm so glad that Erin came on today because I think he made so many fantastic points. One of the things that I've noticed is 5 years ago, if you wanted a new smartphone, if you wanted a new contract, or you were trying to negotiate, all you cared about was, can I have a new handset every year? So you sign up to a 12-month contract. Do I get unlimited texts? And do I have unlimited calls? That was all that you were interested in. And it hasn't been that long that now call time is irrelevant because you can do it all online. Texts are irrelevant because you don't use SMS. Who uses SMS anymore? And you don't even need a new handset every year because really a phone can last at least 2 years and there's no real need to upgrade because there isn't too many improvements and new features that come out 12 months later. So off top of our wish list now, of course, is we want a low-cost data plan. That's number one. And then second, I want a high-value service. So essentially we want a SIM rather than a new handset every 2 years and an expensive contract. For those reasons alone, it's no surprise really that I'm on a SIM-only deal at the moment and that Mint has sold 1 million gigabyte of data within its first year and then 2 million gigabyte of data 6 months later. That's a clear indication to me that the world of mobile phone networks is evolving. But let me throw this out to you guys. I mean, are you still sticking to that 2-year contract and a $1,000 smartphone? Or are you starting to think twice and are you starting to just get a data SIM each month? I'm really interested if you're affected by these changes too, or even if you're thinking about changing from that traditional mobile phone contract. As always, let me know. Tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. Email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. If you want to record an audio voice message, you can do that on my site, techblogwriter.co.uk/podcast. If you've got an additional point that you would like to make that we've not discussed today, record your voice. Let's get it on the next episode. But I'm afraid I'm breaking up for the weekend now. But I will return on Sunday with another episode. I'm not too much of a slacker. So a big thank you for tuning in all week. I know you've got so many different podcasts, different episodes to catch up with, and so many digital distractions. But the fact you tune into this show means the world to me. So a big thank you. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.